we live in a balanced regulatory environment, and we're going to learn in the next session about how to make the most of it. So we're going to kick off by learning about something which, for any of you that attended the open banking and instant payment discussions this morning, you can only agree is probably the most important new payment system coming into place over the next year is the payment system we already have. By making instant payments something that competes at retail point of sale, we're making a huge change to the landscape, which ought to be to the great benefit of consumers. So we're extremely fortunate that Helmut has taken time out from the European Central Bank. They're the people that are in charge of money, basically, if you do. Yeah. So it's the European Central Bank, the people that are in charge of money. So they're very busy people. So we're extremely grateful to Helmut for taking time out from the European Central Bank. Helmut, please come and tell these people just how much the retail payments landscape is going to change over the coming year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dave, for the kind introduction. And just to be sure, I did not bring any money. We speak about non-cash payments, and our core job is to deliver cash. I will speak, though, about electronic payments, instant payments, and maybe, or I hope at least, that the session will be as exciting as the one that seems to have happened last year, because in our panel we speak about regulations but have no regulators on the panel. And I'm not a regulator, I should say. We call ourselves catalysts, so we try to bring people together. And I will tell you a little bit about how we have tried to bring the European market together in order to develop instant payments and try to answer the question whether instant payments will become the new normal. We have, in fact, studied that matter. Some colleagues of mine have drafted a paper where we compared the development of instant payments in other jurisdictions in Europe, the UK, faster payments, Denmark, Sweden, but also abroad, Mexico, Singapore. And I think, looking at the experiences in other jurisdictions, there is reason to assume that it will become the new normal. And I think there's also economic reason to assume so. And that is why the Euro Retail Payments Board, that's a strategic body which is shared by the ECB, executive board member of the ECB, decided some years ago to develop instant payments. In today's economy, you need to deliver, as a merchant, the goods, physical goods, very quickly, closely to real time, I would say, and it's a bit anachronistic that we payments people cannot deliver electronic payments as quickly as physical goods, because it may take longer for a SEPA credit transfer than for the shipment of the goods. That's why, you need some guarantee. That's why most of the innovative payments are based on card payments, where you get a guarantee from the card issuer. Or if you have a payment initiation service provider, you also, even if it is a credit transfer, you need some assurance that the payment will come, and that assurance also doesn't come for free. In instant payment, you get the money on your account within a few seconds. And the ERPB has mandated the EPC, and that's basically the journey I would like to take you through, that we first established the scheme, and I will hint to that, then try to provide the infrastructure for that, the clearing infrastructure, and the settlement infrastructure, which TIPS will provide. Now, the call is on providers to come up with innovative solutions for use cases that you need, and for the banking industry to adopt instant payments. That is suboptimal. Still does not function properly. I don't know. So I would like to take you through that journey. As said, what is instant payments? This means basically, okay, thank you. This means basically that you can make a payment from the payer to, let's say, the payee as a merchant, and the money will be in your account with finality, i.e. there's no guarantee, the money is in the account within 10 seconds. The experience that we have seen so far is that it is much quicker than 10 seconds. It's single digit, a few seconds, 2 or 3. I think that's what it normally takes to do an instant payment. The scheme currently mandates a limit of 15,000 euro, but the scheme also allows communities to waive that limit. And for tips, for example, there is no limit. And in other jurisdictions, some also have higher limits, and the EPC is indeed working on alleviating that constraint. So the Euro Payments Council has developed that scheme upon the invitation of the ERBB and delivered the rulebook in 2016, the implementation guidelines in 2017, so that the initial schemes went live in 2017. And by now, half of the payment service providers in Europe have already joined the scheme, SCT Inst. In some jurisdictions that has been quite successful, Spain, for example, there's a tremendous pickup. Germany is less successful, I should say, and I will come to that in a minute, which may be reasons for that, because it's a question also what the policy of the implementing bank is. But I think that bears a lot of potential for benefits for merchants and consumers. Now, this was, I would say, the broad scheme, how the framework works, what are the rules for instant payments. Then we needed the infrastructure to be in place, so we discussed with clearing houses in order to clear instant payments, because you need to adapt your infrastructure to be able to do that 24/7, real time, all day long, all year long. And one shortcoming in that discussion was that in order to achieve one of our core objectives, which is pan-European reach, so that you can use it from Berlin to Portugal as well as from Finland to Cyprus, that did not materialize because ACHs found it difficult in order to interoperate. And that was the reason why, in the end, the Eurosystem created TIPS, Target Instant Payment Service, which is built on the target infrastructure, our RTGS system, but operates in a separate technical compartment. And it delivers real-time settlement in central bank money. The benefit that you would have in TIPS compared to clearing houses is, first, you're not speaking about clearing, but you have actual settlement, and settlement happens in central bank money, i.e., there is no risk involved. If I make the payment to a merchant, you'll have it in the account of your bank in a matter of a few seconds. And there is no intermediary, so it's booked in the central bank account of your bank that holds your account. So this is certainly a undoubtful benefit that TIPS provides. As I said, it's part of our core infrastructure target. Its target is the RTGS system. TIPS is an instant retail payment system. It applies the same security features that the RTGS has. It has also the same participation criteria. So, I mean, it builds on the safety and soundness of our RTGS system. One feature that TIPS also has is, of course, as European Central Bank, it operates in euro, but the technology is also multi-currency capable. So if other central banks would wish to run a similar instant payment system in their currency, on our system, we could do that. And there are, in fact, some central banks who are under discussion with us. So that's an option which may come at some stage. At least the system would be capable in doing so. So the key benefits of TIPS are clearly settlement in central bank money. It's as efficient as the central bank system is, and as resilient. We have same requirements, for example, cyber protection or operational resilience as the RTGS system. It's fast. It's the only system that can deliver pan-European reach, because in the end, any target participant can open a TIPS account in parallel to its target account for free. Also, the processing cost is extremely low, so we charge 0.2 cents per instruction. Of course, the bank will also, that's not the price that you would get, but the bank will also charge a fee on top of that. But at least the processing cost for the settlement in the bank account, that's extremely low. The big benefit, as I said, for TIPS is that it has pan-European reach, because it has access to all account holders in target, which is 1,700 participants with more than 50,000 addressable BICs. So that's the widest reach, I guess, that you can get in Europe, because basically you have, as soon as the banks have adopted that in TIPS, you have reach to all banks throughout Europe. Now, this is, I would say, the infrastructural part, and what is more important for you is basically that you have useful end-user solutions that cover your needs. And here, of course, the providers, which are out there with their stands outside, as well as the banks, I think are called for in order to provide good and customer-friendly solutions in order to address the use cases that are out there, be it, for example, in e-commerce, be it in point of sale, point of interaction. And we have several work streams where we discuss with the industry in order to facilitate these solutions. In particular, when it comes to pan-European reach, because what we often realize is that, and I think that's normal, that an innovative solution, unless we speak about the big techs from the other side of the ocean or the other side of the world, you start in a local or national environment, and then as you grow, you wish to extend. What we consider essential is that these solutions, they start with a pan-European design, i.e. not that you develop first a pan-European standard, but if such standards are available, you should build it on such pan-European standards, ISO 20022, for example, if that fits, and not on domestic or proprietary standards. I mentioned already the ERBB, the Euro Retail Payments Board, has established different work streams in order to facilitate the cooperation and foster interoperability of such solutions. We have a particular working group which is currently engaged in instant payment at point of interaction in order to see what are potential obstacles and what would have to be overcome in order to ensure pan-European reach and to make sure that solutions can be used throughout Europe. I guess that is one of the core elements that also in your context would be needed in order to make that an efficient solution that you can use in order to attract customers from throughout Europe. So in that respect, let me conclude. The most important points where we currently focus on is pan-European reach and adoption of instant payments. That means that first, I mean, we need banks to adopt these solutions, and here, of course, I mentioned that earlier, there are different philosophies within banks, because, I mean, potentially, I mean, if you promote instant payment, you penetrate and potentially cannibalize your cards business, which may generate revenues for you. But I think that is, I would think, where merchants are called upon. I mean, you need to discuss with your banks, because I would argue from a simple econometric or economic perspective, an instant payment is by design much cheaper, and it facilitates also liquidity management, because you have the liquidity immediately on your account and you don't pay for a guarantee or you wait for the liquidity to come in a delayed batch, but you have the liquidity available instantly. So that, I think, is the challenge that banks now need to adopt these new solutions. And I would think that looking also at the experiences that we have seen in other jurisdictions, there are high growth rates. If we look at the development in the UK, Sweden or Denmark, you see strong growth rates, and also if we look at Spain, for example, they adopted instant payments last year, and by now they process already 8% of their entire credit transfers by means of instant. So there is significant growth in that because people realize the benefits of that instrument, and I think this is also a basis for lots of innovation that you can see in the payments sphere. So in that respect, we need solutions which address user needs in order to make the use cases viable for the industry, but we are convinced that instant payments bear a lot of potential, and that will become the new normal. It's just a question of time when that will happen. For us, I think it's less a question if, it's just a question when. Thank you very much, and happy to discuss afterwards.